Okay, let's be honest for a second. We all do it. It's this habit that's like as natural as breathing, but half the time, we don't even realize we're doing it. I'm talking about judging other people. So in this explainer, we're going to dive deep into why we are so quick to jump to conclusions, and here's the kicker, why it might just be a total waste of our time.
I mean, it's a big question, right? Just think about it. How much of your day, how much of your mental energy do you spend just forming opinions, making these little assessments, keeping a mental scorecard on pretty much everyone you meet? But what if I told you that all that effort, every bit of it, is completely and utterly pointless?
So, to really get to the heart of this whole thing, I want to start with a really simple but ancient story. It's one of those metaphors that once you hear it, you'll see it everywhere. It just perfectly captures how absurd this whole habit really is.
So imagine this scene. There's a guy who sits on his porch every single morning, without fail. And his one job, his whole focus, is to meticulously count every single cow that heads out to the pasture. 1, 2, 10, 50. He keeps this super careful, detailed tally.
And his day isn't over until he does it all again in the evening. He's got to count them all as they come back, making sure the number matches. This is his whole world, his daily ritual. You know, he probably knows that herd better than anyone else.
And here is the punchline. It's brilliant. Someone finally comes up and asks him about his massive herd of cattle, and his answer is just stunning. He says, "Oh, I don't own a single one." He's spending all his precious time counting somebody else's cattle. Does that sound a little familiar?
And that's exactly what we're going to call the useless tally. It's what we do. We obsess over who's doing what, who's right, who's wrong, who's getting ahead, who's falling behind. And all the while, our own life, our own cattle, are just wandering by, completely ignored.
So, okay, why do we do this? Well, a lot of the time, it comes from a place of just deep-seated ignorance, and we don't even realize it. There's another great story that really brings this to life. All right, so meet Pundamo. He's a simple guy from a small village, and he takes a trip to the big city. While he's there, he stumbles on this huge crowd watching two teams of really strong guys just pulling on this thick rope with everything they've got.
Now look at this from Bondumal's perspective. He's watching them sweat and strain, and to him, it's just pure madness. He doesn't get the point of the struggle at all. So he yells out what he thinks is this brilliant, game-changing solution. He totally, completely misses the entire point of the game.
And this right here is the key. We all have a little bit of Bondumal inside of us, don't we? We see a tiny snapshot of someone else's struggle, their own personal tug-of-war, and from our very limited point of view, we rush to a simple and honestly pretty foolish judgment without knowing any of the context, the rules, or what's even at stake.
And this idea of judging without any context leads us to another really powerful metaphor. This one perfectly explains the fundamental flaw in pretty much every opinion we form about other people.
Just look at this comparison for a second. On the left side, that's the tiny, tiny sliver of information we actually have. It's one action, maybe a few words we overheard. And on the right, well, that's everything else. The person's entire past, their private reasons for doing things, and all the amazing possibilities their future holds. We're basically judging an entire ocean based on a single drop of water.
And this just nails it, doesn't it? We find one torn, faded page from someone's life story, a page where sentences are half missing, and we act like we've read the entire novel. It's not just unfair to them, it's literally impossible for us.
Okay, so if judging is so flawed, what's the alternative? This next story offers up a pretty radical and honestly beautiful shift in how we can see things. It's all about seeing people not just for who they are right now, but for who they could become.
So the story goes like this. A young seeker, someone still on their journey, approaches the great Deepankar Buddha and bows down at his feet as a sign of respect. But then, something totally wild happens. The Buddha, the fully enlightened master, bows right back to this lowly seeker. You can just imagine the shock. The seeker is completely floored.
And here is the Buddha's incredible explanation. He says, "I see your future. I see the amazing potential locked inside you. Right now, you might be a seed, but I am bowing to the magnificent flower that you are absolutely destined to become."
Just stop and think about how profound that is. It's a complete 180 from how we usually operate. Instead of judging someone for their past mistakes or what they're doing wrong right now, this is about actively looking for the hidden potential, the flower that's just waiting to bloom inside every single person we meet.
Now, this new way of seeing, it requires one absolutely crucial ingredient: patience. We have to be willing to just wait, to let the full story unfold before we rush in with our half-baked conclusions. Let me give you a couple of quick examples. Okay, picture this. A customer buys some jaggery and asks how much it costs. The shopkeeper starts to answer, but he has a stutter, so he says, 3 rupees. The customer's in a hurry, so he just throws down 3 rupees and leaves. A few days later, he comes back, and the shopkeeper's brother charges him just 2 rupees and 50 paise. He feels cheated, right? He gets angry. But the brother explains, look, my brother has a stutter. He was trying to say 250, but you didn't have the patience to listen and left before he could even finish. It's just a perfect little story about how our quick judgments can be so incredibly wrong. Or take the story of the Saint Maluk Das. So the act, he steals. Our immediate judgment, thief, bad guy. Simple, right? What's the full context? He's only stealing to provide food for holy men who are literally starving and have nothing. Suddenly, the why completely changes the meaning of the what, the intention behind the act. Well, it's everything.
So what's the big takeaway here? How do we actually do this? Well, first, just pause. Before that opinion pops into your head, just take a breath. Second, remind yourself about that torn page. You never ever have the full story. Third, actively try to see the potential in people, to look for the hidden flower, not just the dirt on the surface. And finally, and this is the big one, take all that energy you were spending counting other people's cattle and turn it inward. Use it to tend to your own herd, to focus on your own growth.
And that really leaves us with one final question. And it's not about anyone else, it's about you. Instead of focusing on all the flaws you see in the world around you, what incredible potential, what hidden flower inside you are you going to start watering today?